thatmovieguyUK.
Hi everybody, welcome back. Maybe welcome for the very first time. In today's video, we'll be discussing a film that's making waves during the Autumn Film Festival season, and that is Cornel Manzuruko's Pieces of a Woman. This film won Best Actress of the Volpi Cup at the Venice Film Festival for Vanessa Kirby. She is now in the stratosphere of being one of the main nominees potentially during awards season. A lot of discussions have been going on, very positive, very unison mindsets and concepts, and honestly I think to myself, well, this has to be checked out, and this is why we're here, and let's get talking. A very blunt Pieces of a Woman synopsis. It follows the story of Martha, who is a grieving woman who embarks on an emotional journey after the loss of a baby. This honestly is a darkly raw melodrama that hits very hard. Manzuruko begins this film with a 30-minute birth scene, which kind of emphasizes what we are going through. There is no establishment of character or what is going on in their world. We are just struck in, and this 30 minutes is very harrowing to the extent of the birth scene that we see in Roma, but very, very much longer and very grueling. But I think this is the catharsis and the main fundamentality that Pieces of a Woman requires, and it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the film. We then go on to see how grief and loss is dealt with. We all go through this process in very different ways. We react to it in some very intense ways or very secluded ways. And I think this capitalization is very well displayed from Manzuruko, and I believe that these fragmented scenes that we are seeing, it's not in a continuous take. It's very similar to how Marriage Story was, where we see fragments of time as we move along. And I think seeing Vanessa Kirby and Shia LaBeouf's characters kind of dealing with this is something that I find to be very difficult. But I've never gone through the loss of a child myself personally. I have had friends and family members that have lost a child, and I just cannot imagine how this is for them. And Pieces of a Woman really kind of takes you into this mindset, and it's very subtle the way it's done. It's not over dramatic at all, and it almost feels like a Cassavetes film in a strange way, purely for the reason that we see it in a lot more naturalistic, deeply and intimate way. And as I've mentioned, from the building of the birth scene and moving forward, it just really capsizes and builds into something very, very hard to watch, and it's very draining. But also, I found it to be a very rewarding film to kind of get into more of an understanding of the process of how people go through these types of challenges in their lives. My only qualms with this film is the use of metaphorical imagery that Manzuruko uses. It's very spoon-fed, and it doesn't necessarily need to exist within the film. And for some reason, I just found this to be too obvious, and I think it just doesn't really fit to the overall naturalistic viewpoints that we are seeing. But nonetheless, what Manzuruko has created and crafted with Kata Weber's script is something that is utterly solid, and it's very memorable for many reasons, especially this performance from Vanessa Kirby, who owns Pieces of a Woman. Honestly, the amount of research that she did for this is very well emphasized. She hasn't given birth to a child herself, but she has gone and channeled these experiences, and it feels like she has kind of worked off her own losses in her life within the performance. It's very fragile, it's very naive, it's very powerful, it's everything. You can describe this in any way, but this is a very all-well-round performance, and you can see why she's one of the main frontrunners for award season. But also, as mentioned, Ellen Burstyn, who is in this film, is fantastic. This is like Laura Dern in Marriage Story. This is just one of those performances that comes in, does the job, leaves, comes back, and it perfectly works in so many ways. A lot of discussion is about Shia LaBeouf also. A lot of people think that Shia LaBeouf isn't very good in this film, but what I think about LaBeouf is that he creates a dissidence from himself, and it basically shows another way of grief. And I think what he gives is good, but I don't think is as good as Burstyn. And Kirby's performances. Overall, Pieces of a Woman is one of the standout films of the Autumn Film Festival season, and it will stick with you for a very long time, including Kirby's performance, which is one of the best performances I've seen in the last few years, and I'd be very shocked to see if she was not to be nominated for this actual performance. Pieces of a Woman actually will be available on Netflix. I'm not too sure when, but it's going to be sooner rather than later, because this is going to be a big push and they want to build the momentum for it. So once you've seen it, let me know what you think of it. Comment below if you have seen it already and let me know what you thought of it. And do you actually even think that Vanessa Kirby is a good actress in anything else that you've seen it, except for Hobbs and Shaw, because she is amazing in Hobbs and Shaw also. But still, like, share, subscribe as you please. There'll be more film festival reviews coming up, including Ammonite will be up next, which will be maybe tomorrow if you're lucky. So keep sharing the love. I think maybe I'm at 500 subscribers now. I'm not quite sure. So if I am, congratulations. Thank you very much. Keep sharing this. Keep spreading all the love. And as we normally say on this channel, Diolch, danke, obrigado, merci beaucoup, arigato, dankeschön, bitteschön, all the shins. And obviously, never change. Bye.